Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. Now, I wasn't supposed to be coming on live tonight. I expect I've surprised a lot of you. It's quite late here in Spain. It's 11 o'clock. I know it's 10 o'clock in the UK. I'm not sure what time it is. It's probably the middle of the night, is it? No, it's probably the afternoon in Eastern time, etc. So the reason that I've come on live is because I think as it's coming up to Nicola Bulley's birthday, we're waiting for this report from the internal investigation from the police. I don't know. I've just started looking in more. I started looking at some things about the Nicola Bulley case, and one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and especially going back over the things that the podcasts and things, you'll have seen one tonight which wasn't alive, seen online, and then that led me to look for other podcasts. There's one coming out in the morning at 10 o'clock Spanish time, 9 o'clock UK time, and I'm not sure what time Eastern time. And then I found more, so the thing is, once you start looking into things, you start finding more things. And then I was thinking, right, well, what am I going to do with these that I found? When am I going to fit them in? Because tomorrow night will be it's Serial Killer Sunday, so that'll be something completely different. I've already got one video going out in the morning with a podcast in the day from a reporter, which I think you've probably not heard. I certainly have never heard it. And then I found some more. So anyway, so what I've decided to do, I thought I'm going to go on, I'm going to do a live. There are actually 3 of these podcasts, but I'm just going to do one tonight on a live, and then I'll do, when I say I'll do them, what I mean is we're going to look at them together. I'm going to assess them, tell you what I think. Oh my God, because I watched them after I'd binge watched the Beckhams today, which was a nice escape from true crime. I then started watching these podcasts, and I was just a bit flabbergasted because, you do forget things. And so it's good to look back at this point where we are now, because obviously these podcasts were made sort of back in January, February time, in the early days of the investigation. And we're now, in October, we've had the inquest, other things that have come up. To look back at them with fresh eyes, I've found it absolutely fascinating. So I hope you find it fascinating as well. Now, I've got a couple of new members on here tonight, but I just want to say I don't do the welcome tonight. I'll do it on up to Nicola's birthday. The other thing, which you might think is mad or not mad, I had the dream the other night, and it literally was a dream. And I did feel when I woke up that I was doing the right thing in putting these things on about Nicola and that. I don't feel I'm being disrespectful to Nicola. I feel like I'm, looking at things as we should be looking at things, because we're not happy. I don't know what happened to Nicola. I'm not saying that Nicola came to me in a dream and told me exactly what happened to her. I just had a dream that she was happy with what I was doing, so I'm going with that. Right, so where am I now? Oh, so I want to say thank you, first of all. Thank you to all my subscribers, anyone who participates in the chat, anyone who I want to thank anyone who likes. Don't forget to press the like. That's really important, to press the like, because that helps me out. I especially want to thank my members, because people who want to go a little bit further, everyone who watches a video is supporting my channel. Even if you're a trolley dolly, you're supporting my channel if you watch my videos, so thank you for that. Then the nice people that watch my videos, who appreciate the content, who press a like, or participate in the chat. But you don't have to participate in the chat. You can be sat at home just watching the video. That's enough. And then some people go a little bit further. They join as a member, and then they can join in the members' lives on a Thursday, and then video. If they can't actually make the live, they can watch the video after, which is unedited, and we have a little bit of fun. We wear masks or do silly things. Now, I haven't got a mask on tonight because, well, as you can see, I've got the avatar on because this would normally be bedtime for me if it wasn't for the fact that I found this podcast and I think it's really interesting and important. And I hope I'm not going to get copyright struck for it. People have sent me super chat, super sticker, etc. Or they have bought me a coffee or a Ko-fi. People have PayPal'd me, so I'm very appreciative of that because that really helps, me be able to have more time to make more content. That's the important thing to me. I'm really enjoying doing this. I think you're enjoying watching the videos. I think they're helping towards, something finally breaking, maybe in everything in the public eye. So anyway, so the more sort of, I don't know, the more invested I can get in it, and the more time I can spend on it, the better. Right, okay, so I'm going to shut up now and get on with what I'm doing. I just want to say hello to everybody because, and it literally is going to be a brief hello because I'm going to try and not get distracted with the chat. I'm going to try and just sort of get on with the video. So hi Chumba, hi Princess, hi Daisy May, hi Kelly. And I hope I don't miss anyone. Sometimes if I go down too quick, I miss people. Hi Irish Eyes, hi Sky Smith, hi Cheryl. Yeah, it was a very last minute thing, this. Hi Sarah Ruth, stroke recovery. Hi Adina. Hi, Gail. Gail's a new member, but I'm going to welcome you properly on Thursday, Gail. Hi Shelley. I hope you're okay, Shelley. Going down 1423. Hi DMV videos. Hi Brenda. Oh, hi Angela. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Gail. Hi Karen. Hi, the other Cheryl, because I think I've already said hello to one Cheryl, but I think I've got two Cheryls on here. Cheryl Bolton, hi. Hi, Tina. Right, okay. Say hello to anyone who's watching at home. Some people are a bit shy about joining in the chat or whatever. They just want to sit and watch at home. That's fine too. And I know everybody here on the chat, they'll say hello to each other. Okay, so this podcast I found, now you may have watched it at the time, but I bet even if you watched it at the time, you may have forgotten some of the things in it. Now, I just want to say that if I suddenly disappear off stream, I might have been copyright claimed. I don't know, because this is a YouTube. Normally on YouTube, you don't get copyright claimed as long as, copyright claim is okay. You don't get copyright struck. That's the thing where they will take you straight off. If you're, using it's fair use, if you're looking at the video and you're commenting on it. But of course, this guy, I'm going to look at a YouTube video or podcast that Mark Williams, which I never saw at the time. I know he was involved. He gets involved, doesn't he, at any sort of high profile case that's going on, and he did get involved. He was at the inquest. Well, he was at the inquest the first day. He seemed to disappear the second day and stop commenting, and when, you know, I have absolutely no idea why. But anyway, if you look at this, we're going to look at this podcast that he did right, you know, as the investigation was going on, before Nicola had even been found. And you'll see he was very interesting. He had some very interesting comments to make. But what happened to that way that he thought? You know, why did he change his feelings? Anyway, that's what we're going to look at. Hi, David. Okay, so let's share how we're going to watch the video, and I'm going to comment on it. And you're going to comment on it. Let me know. As always, I always like to know what everybody else thinks, as long as they're respectful. I wonder if he'd been silenced, because I don't understand why he was so vocal at the time. And it, well, we'll see. And well, but these videos are still up there though as well. Well, so far. You know, yours. I thought, should I record these videos? You know, because I have recorded them, because you never know when things will just disappear sometimes off YouTube. But anyway, so here he is. Let me just make sure that you've got the picture. Hi, Geraldine. Yeah, I think a lot of people weren't exactly shut down. I think there's a lot of manipulation as well from YouTube creators. That's something that you've got to understand as well. That's what I've noticed. You know, people start up a channel, then they take it off, then they put it back, then they come back. You know, that's them doing that. That's not YouTube. It's rare for YouTube to take down a channel, but it's not unheard of. But, you know, you've got to break quite a lot of rules to be taken off, but you never know. That's why I am. Oh, that's another thing. Thank you to all of you that follow me on Rumble, because I did set up an account on Rumble, VickiMarieChats, just in case the day ever comes that YouTube say, oh, that's it, you're off, or whatever. Control. I won't have any control over that. And a lot of you have gone over there and followed me on Rumble, and thank you so much for that. And if any of you can do that, please do that. That's a backup. I've uploaded a couple of videos on there, but I mean literally only 3. Maybe, and I keep thinking maybe one day I'll do a live from Rumble just to see what it's like. But, you know, I haven't got time to. I feel like things are sort of, I don't know if I'm making any difference in the Nicola Bulley case. I feel like there's things that we don't know about, and every little more thing that I unearth makes me think be even more convinced that there's more to it. But I don't know if it'll ever come to anything. I don't know if this will just be one of those things that rumbles on forever. I've forgotten what I was saying now. But the thing is, yeah, there could YouTube say, oh, no, we don't like you anymore, so get off. So if you do get a chance to follow me on Rumble, please do it. And thank you to all the ones that have. But that is really a backup. Okay, now the first thing I just want to say, looking at Mark's books that he's got behind him. So one of the books he's got here is the What Lies Beneath, which is the Peter Falding book. And these podcasts we're going to look at, he describes Peter Falding as his friend. You know, his good friend. Of course, we've got his books up here, you know, which all these books that are here he'll have left there on purpose. That's 100%. Anybody would do that. They wouldn't want to. That's vanished. There's his books up here. I have sort of screenshot it, and I will have a look and see exactly what books he's got. What books does he think it's important for us to see? Because there's no way those books are just there by accident. He'll have posed that background, and the books he wants us to see, they'll be the books that are there. But anyway, I'm not going to look at them at the moment. I'm going to get on with the video, but it's interesting because people do set their backgrounds. Of course they do. You know, on my backgrounds, Oh, I am changing my, anyway, that's a whole nother story. But on my backgrounds, when I'm up here, I've got my Spanish books in the background. Of course you do. Put things in your books in the background that you want people to see. That's just, so, yeah, I'm going to have a look through them. Okay, let's have a look what he's got to say.
Edition, we're looking at the disappearance, the case, which is ongoing now, day 10 into the disappearance of.
So we're on day 10 into the disappearance of Nicola Bulley. Mark Williams Thomas looking into it. This is part 1. There are 3 parts. I think I'll only get through part 1 tonight. Just depends if I fall asleep over the video or not. But we're definitely.
Nicola Bulley. We've got a number of people who are joining us as guests, and we've also got some footage that we're going to show you. We're going to give you an exclusive interview with Peter Folding. Peter Folding is the specialist. He runs his own specialist recovery team. He works for police forces up and down the country. He's a very close friend of mine.
A very close friend of mine. A very close friend of mine, he said. Now, he also shows a lot of footage of the river. Now, you can see from this, just this, I know we say it all the time, this river, I mean, this is just ridiculous, isn't it? This river doesn't even move. It's narrow. It's as still as anything. I don't care what anyone says. I've been there. I've seen it. It's shallow. It's still. No way that anybody went into that river and then reappeared miles away from round a load of corners. Just didn't happen.
He has offered his services for free to Lancashire Police and also to the family. And he is on his way up there now to meet his team, who left very early this morning.
I'm sure at some point in this, he said he offered his services to Lancashire Police and they didn't, and they refused, and then he offered them to the family. But anyway, what he just said there then was, well, let's listen to it. I'm going to just go back a little bit.
He runs his own specialist recovery team. He works for police forces up and down the country. He's a very close friend of mine. He has offered his services for free to Lancashire Police and also to the family. And he is on his way up there now to meet his team, who left very early this morning to undertake a number of searches. We'll talk a little bit more in detail with Peter shortly. But before we do that, let's set the scene. Let's set the scene in terms of where we currently are at. I want to play you a clip from the superintendent in charge of the investigation. This is her current.
So he plays a clip now. So remember, we're 10 days into the search. He plays a clip now from the superintendent, and this will be Silly Sally Riley. Maybe she's not so silly. Oh gosh, you'd like an interview with her, wouldn't you?
Working hypothesis.
At the point where the bench is located, there is quite a steep drop to the, albeit not high, it is
No,
steep.
it's not, and we'll see that later. I mean, it's just every time you watch these videos, and as I say, he shows a. We know it isn't anyway. We've seen photos. Sometimes you get a bit tired of repeating the same thing, but at the end of the day, what else can we do? I do think with Sally, when you look at her eyes there, I mean, what is she thinking? Oh God, if only you could actually know what people were thinking.
And therefore, whilst I don't want to speculate as to what may have happened, it is our working hypothesis that she's entered the water accidentally.
See, this just makes me laugh. They say we don't want to speculate on what may have happened. But they do speculate. The whole inquest was speculation. And this hypothesis thing, well, I've got a different hypothesis. Because they're police and I'm not police. That means my hypothesis is not as important as their hypothesis. They've got no evidence to support their hypothesis. They base their hypothesis really on the fact that witnesses had said they'd seen Nicola and they could not find any CCTV evidence to show that she left the field. And of course, her phone was on the bench. That's their hypothesis. They haven't got any proof.
And that's why there is no further physical evidence on the field.
So that's Superintendent Riley. She is the lead officer in relation to the disappearance of Nicola Bulley. It's currently being dealt with as a uniform, not a criminal investigation.
So that's interesting, because he said it's currently being dealt with as a uniform, not a criminal investigation.
Their position is that they believe that she has gone missing, but there is no foul play. They've been very clear to say that their view is that she has fallen into the water. But as of yet, day 10, there is still no sign of her or any indication as to what has directly happened to her. The police themselves have been very clear to say that there is no supporting evidence that she has fallen into the water. There's no footprints on the bank, and indeed there is no evidence.
So no footprints on the bank and no evidence in the water.
Is their working hypothesis. So let's look at the timeline in relation to Nicola's disappearance. So it starts on January the 27th. At 8:43, Nicola walks along the path by the River Wire, having dropped her 2 children off at
school. So this footage of the water, I mean, you can see how still the water is, but yeah, it's very frosty. When is this footage from? Is this footage that he's taken, or he sent a drone up? Or is it actually at the time, or is it 10 days after Nicola went missing, or is it the day Nicola went missing? You know, we don't know when is it the year before Nicola went missing? We don't know when this footage is from, but this here, this is the drop into the water, isn't it? Look at, for saying it, look how still it is. Look how far the path, even this sort of path here, it's miles away from the edge of the water. You wouldn't fall in unless you were actually literally stood on the edge. And then you'd just plop into the water.
At 8:50 approximately, a dog walker who knows Nicola saw her walking along the lower field with her dog. The 2 dogs interacted before briefly the witness left the field and the river path. At 8:53, there is communication from Nicola to her boss via an email. And then at 9:01...
Now, the other thing I want to know, what is, you see this harness here? You'll see it again as this footage goes on. Is this supposed to be the real harness? Why is there a harness there?
She joins a Teams call. Now, she has that muted and without video while she can still walk her dog, but she's listening to that call. Approximately 9:10, and it is approximate because there's no certainty in relation to this time. Somebody who knows Nicola, again, this would be a positive sighting, saw her on the upper field walking her dog, Willow. And when she saw her, she roughly guessed that it was about 9:10. But again, we can't be certain of that time. Then at 9:30.
Hi, I just want to say hi to the. I know I just noticed a couple of people had come in that I haven't said hello to. So, hi Deptford Pink. Hi Funky. Hopefully, I haven't missed anyone else. Hi Geraldine. I don't think. Oh, hi Helen. Okay. Definitely the Savile book that he's got there behind him. Right, I think I'm just going. There's quite a lot of you in here, which is lovely. But so if I miss saying hello to anyone, I'm so sorry. So I'm just going to carry on with the video.
But Nicola still remained on that call. She didn't log off at that point. So we don't know at that point whether that was the time that just before that she'd gone missing. 08:35 approximately, Nicola's mobile phone was found on the bench by a dog walker. That's the bench that's now become quite synonymous. And in fact, we've seen over the weekend that it's now open to the public to walk past.
Oh, yeah, and interestingly enough, oh, see this, what is this here? Whose dog lead is that? Or harness? That isn't where the harness was found, is it? Or is this supposed to be a crime scene photo? Where's the phone, if it is? Why has that harness been left there like it was supposed to be further up the bank? So annoying, this case. But what else was it? Oh yeah, so supposing, if you think that somebody's supposed to have fallen into the water and had this terrible accident and lost their life, why has nothing been put, no barrier been put up or anything? That's what normally happens, isn't it? If you know, it is just so full of rubbish. But anyway,
facts in relation to what's been found. So the dog's harness was found on a bench or near to a bench.
What is that? Has he staged that? Who's put that there?
And the phone was found on the bench. So the questions, of course, that are being asked is, well, if she fell into the water, why didn't she have her phone with her? Why was her phone on the bench? The alarm was raised eventually, and her dog, her Springer Spaniel, was found running loose. Contradictory information as to where the dog was. Some say the dog was near to the bench, and others say that the dog was some distance away. In fact, the police, even in their own press conference, have conflicted those 2 points. But what we do know, of course, is that the dog was running.
That's another thing. So some people say the dog was right there at the bench, running in between the bench and the stile, and then Sally Riley herself, in one of the press interviews, said the dog was found an hour later. It's all contradictory.
And without harness. The search now has been going on for 10 days. I just want to bring in the local reporter from that area. That is
the inquest. It was said the dog didn't have its harness on, but it had the lead, didn't it? The retractable lead around its neck, because Anne-Marie Fletcher said that at first the dog didn't want to move. I don't know why I'm holding my hand to my neck, because I've got the avatar on, but I'm showing you. Yeah, I'm sort of here like holding my hand to my neck, showing you what I mean, which is just ridiculous because I'm not on camera. But yes, Fletcher said that the dog had its collar on. The retractable lead was attached to the collar, and if when you let go of if you let go of the handle, it sort of like goes boom like that and sort of whacks the dog in the neck, and that's where the collar was. That's where the retractable lead was. That's not what he's saying.
Lancashire Telegraph. David is the digital editor there. David, thank you very much for but it's now national.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the circumstances of what's happened with it. The blue, it's really captured the attention of the country. You really
want to say something now that's a bit off the cuff, but notice with Mark, his earbuds. He has a lot of problems with him. Every time, I know from that I have on Zoom, they're a blood nightmare, those earbuds. Other interviews that I've YouTube, etc. He loses his quite often. And the thing is, once the earbud falls out, it affects the sound quality. But anyway, work out now.
As soon as possible.
And something the police have been very clear about is talking about how safe the area up there. Now, I've been critical of that because actually, crimes happen in all kinds of areas, but this really has grown your community. And I guess in a way, it probably brought a certain amount of fear because of the uncertainty.
Yeah, St. Michael's on Wire, where it's happened. It's a really, really small village. Only a couple of hundred people live there. It's in quite a rural location, so it's not the type of place that you'd associate
as small
with.
as that. Only a couple of hundred people live there, he said.
With crime. So I think that's why it's really hit home to the people who live there, because it's not something that they see regularly, such a big police operation on their doorstep.
And what are the feelings of your readership? Are they really worried?
A lot of people send in their welfare.
It's harness. What is that?
It's one of those things where you just can't imagine it happening. Your mum going missing or your partner going missing and seemingly without a trace. I think it's really struck a chord with people.
One of the things that, of course, is very clear is the shots of the river. Now, the river wasn't under flood, and as you can see from those shots, Jodie, if we can just pop them back up again, that river has very little flow on it. Yes, it ebbs and weaves round corners, but there is very little flow on that river. Have you had incidents where people have fallen into the river and have died?
Around that location, I'm not sure if it's...
I just want to say hello to Saskia, Rio and Annie, who have come into the chat now. What's asking there if other people died there? Well, we looked at that in another video, didn't we? There was a guy died 25 years ago. He came off a motorbike, didn't he? We don't know if he died on a motorbike or he drowned in the river. And then there was a little toddler, a poor little 2-year, 20 years ago or so, 10 years ago or something. Anyway, that's been, we don't know if that toddler wandered off and just fell into the river. To be honest, we don't actually really know what happened there. So, and that's been it. So no, it's not a place where it happens on a regular basis. It's not like some rivers, which are dangerous.
If it's something that's happened before, but it has been particularly cold up here in the past few weeks. So the water could be very, very cold. And obviously we know from previous where people have fallen through ice, like the cold water hit people. She has fallen, even if it is.
By the way, so he's about this cold. If she, it just drives me mad. Yeah, she might have got cold water shock if she fell in the river. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, he's looking at the time the body hadn't been found yet, so he's hypotheses, if you like, or speculating that challenge cold, which he could. But then she'd be right there. She'd find it dragged within seconds. Her body would have been anyway.
Water and not very deep. The shock, it could have had devastating consequences.
Yeah, Jodie, let's just pop that drone back up. I think we can see in the corner of that drone shot the abandoned building. There was an abandoned building. A very grand abandoned building, directly almost.
Yeah, notice. So this is someone with a little white dog. That'll be probably that woman with the little white dog that they talked about. And then they talked about the abandoned building. That's had a
opposite the park bench. That's featured.
Where is it?
Quite prominently, David. The police have searched. Someone missing. You get that many around that area. That seems to me to be quite a bad build.
I'm not too sure. It's given how quiet the area normally is. It's not something that we're too clued up on.
No. Okay. And following this story very.
What? So because of how quiet the areas, we're not really clued up on that. But you know, why? He's not a very good reporter, is he? Or
in relation to have you had reporters down to the scene?
We tend to focus on the eastern part of the county, so it's been a little bit with staffing situations as they are. It's not something.
So basically, no, he hasn't been to the scene.
Been able to get out. So, but there's been extensive coverage from the PA and from police who've kept.
And certainly, you've been covering it at the Lancashire Telegraph as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. David, stay there. I'll come back to you very shortly. I just talk to you now about Peter Folding. So Peter Folding he runs a company called Specialist Group International. They perform matches up and down the country for UK police forces, predominantly in the south of England, which is where they're based in Surrey. Peter himself, a former Royal Marine, is a confined spaces expert, but for years now he has pulled together predominantly former special forces as well as Marines. Experience to go and do searches for in water using divers, but as well as on land looking for bodies. Peter, when I spoke to him this morning, he's got an incredibly busy time. His team are up there. Peter gave me a few minutes whilst he was in his helicopter flying up there. This is what he said to me about the search that's going on. Hi, Peter. Peter.
So I'm just going to stop it a minute because I don't like to leave it too long, and I want to get the whole conversation, the whole thing that Peter said in it. So,
Peter, you're flying on your way up now to Lancashire to offer your help in relation to the disappearance of Nicola Bulley. What's the plan?
Right, the plan, we've had a briefing from Lancashire Police, a thorough briefing this morning, and we're there to assist their teams working closely together. We've been tasked with a lower area of the river down from the weir to search using our side scan sonar. We like this as well, while the police continue their searches further up. This gives us a much, better chance to get in the river clear a lot quicker, really. With that, we bring the expertise with our high frequency side scan sonar.
Pete, we've worked together on a lot of works.
So what it does, we tap behind the fish on the short cable, and it will send down waves across the seabed or riverbed.
I just want to interrupt it again to just say, look at that river. It's not.
Sort of 30 meters wide, it's probably to swim. Narrow river. It comes the signal, which then when I get a basis of the crystal clear image graph or image. Such high frequency, 1800 kilohertz. The higher the frequency, the better the definition. And £55,000 cost, but it's the best hit in the world.
Sorry, I can see that some of you are saying that the voice is cutting out, but that's not anything Peter's. The stream is from. If Peter's voice is cutting out, that's from Mark's stream, not from my stream. But I'm going to go back just in case I'll go back to when Peter started talking. See if you can hear it any better.
Nicola Bulley, what's the plan?
Right, the plan, we've had a briefing from Lancashire Police, a thorough briefing this morning, and we're there to assist their teams working closely together. We've been tasked with a lower area of the river down from the weir to search using our side scan sonar. We have our divers with us as well. a much, better chance of getting the river clear a lot quicker, really. With that, we bring the expertise with our high frequency side scan sonar.
Pete, we've worked together on a lot of cases. Just for our listeners, just give them an insight in terms of how that sonar works.
So what it does, Mark, we dial types behind the phone. That's what they call a tone vision.
No, because Peter is speaking from his helicopter. So it is bad. It's like on a walkie-talkie. It's not like on a proper phone. Hopefully you can hear me okay now.
It will send downwaves across the seabed or riverbed, and we can scan up to...
Oh, sorry, there was someone I wanted to say hello to there as well. Somebody... Oh, Ruth. Hi, Ruth.
Sort of 30 metres wide, or 60 metres wide, what they call a sweep in one go. This one will be using metres high because it's quite a narrow river. And then it sends a sound wave, it hits a target, and it comes back into a computer, returns the signal, which then I interpret that signal, and I get a crystal clear image of the bottom. It's not a photograph, but it's a very clear image. Every rock, every stick laying on the bottom, it's very, very clear. Because it's such a high frequency, 1800 kilohertz, the higher the frequency, the better the definition. And it's a £55,000 cost, but it's the best hit in the world for this type of work. Where divers can search a small area, this area, and once we get a target, and then from there we can basically put a diver in to confirm.
Yeah, even the subtitles can't work it out now. But sometimes it can't identify what he's saying because he's in a helicopter.
Generally, a body will show up as a body. I can see it very clearly because we do a lot of drownings there, unfortunately, every summer. And we find them very quickly using the sonar.
Pete, what do you know about the river, the depth, the pace of it?
It looks from all the reports I've had, it's quite slow moving. The river is not in flood. If we had lots of rain a week before, then the river could rise and it will flow very quick. But it's moving very slowly, but it's shallow in places, it's deep in places. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge with the sonar in parts of it and then getting out the boat, moving the boat around. But the good thing is patches of it are shallow, which can be clearly searched by water teams wading. But we'll be concentrating on the deeper water.
Right, there's quite a lot of movement around the riverbanks as well, isn't it? It moves to an angle, so there's a possibility that if she has gone in the water, she could have been caught.
Yes, that's correct, Mark.
So he said there, if she went to the river, she could have been caught up. But again, he said afterwards, Peter, that he didn't search in the reeds and everything, but PC Thackeray, Plod as I call him, but PC Thackeray River, he said that they did search all the snag areas, etc. At the end, I think we all know that Nicola would have been found the very first day. Everyone was looking for her.
We generally find in normal benign water, non-tidal fast water, then when people go down, they're generally not far from where they actually went down. If she's not in there, and she is in there, then I'm totally confident that we'll find her.
Peter, and just the final word, you've obviously been in contact with the family. They are very much in Lancashire Police Breed. A very difficult time for them.
It's a very difficult time, Mark, and my thoughts go out to the family and all the friends. I deal with so many grieving families every year. It's not nice to see for anybody. And I just hope that we can bring some form of closure, along with the police team who are working extremely hard on this. And we make a great team working working together to bring closure.
Brilliant. Well, up and down the country, you work with police forces. I have the utmost respect. You're a great friend, but also you're brilliant, you and your team and what you do. So we're all behind you. Keep us updated, Peter, and look after yourself. And
He's
safe
frightened again there. A great friend. I didn't realise they were so friendly.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Mark.
So that was Peter very shortly or a short time ago on his up to Lancashire. He'll be there now. He's certainly landed and he's making his way across to meet the rest of the team. And this afternoon they will start their search. They're aided slightly by the length of days. So obviously there is more daylight, so they'll be able to work as late as possible. They do have this as well, so they may well work very late into the night, I would expect. I'll try and catch up with Peter later and give you updates on either the or on the many social.
Just wondering, in his helicopter, his team went up there. Why did he not go in? Why in a helicopter? Anyway, again, whatever harm that is.
Media platforms I have. So just for that, in particular, what Peter was saying. So one of the things is the flow of water. So we can see that flow of the water, and I know because I've been on many searches with Peter, and in fact, he has done all the recent searches for me looking for recovery of bodies, and I've been out with him when he has recovered bodies. And what is very true is that it tends to be where the person goes in, they are not far away from there.
So there you go. So he said he's been on many searches with Peter. He seemed to sort of suggest almost like he'd employed Peter. Let's have a look.
And he's making his way across to meet the rest of the team. And this afternoon they will start their search. They're aided slightly by the length of days now, so obviously there is more daylight, so they'll be able to work as late as possible. They do have lights as well, so they may well work very late into the night, I would expect. I'll try and catch up with Peter later and give you updates on either the or on the many social media platforms I have. So let's look at that, in particular what Peter was saying. So one of the things that strikes me is the flow of the water. So we can see that flow of the water, and I know because I've been on many searches with Peter, and in fact he has done all the recent searches for me looking for recovery of bodies, and I've been out with him when he has recovered bodies. And what is very true is that it tends to be where the person goes in, they are not far away from there.
It tends to be where the person goes in, they're not very far away from there.
Unless, of course, there is a flow. Now, we can see from that river, there is very little flow. And in fact,
there is flow, but Mark is saying this, not me. As we can see from that river, there is very little flow.
At a time, it is quite shallow as well. So I would be expecting to find Nicola in a very short distance away from where she fell in, which is around that area that we believe. Of course, that's where the mobile phone was left on the park bench. They're going to be searching that area, but they'll also be searching much further down in some of the deeper water. So did Nicola fall in? Well, we don't know. It is the working hypothesis of the police. It is a position that they have adopted very clearly, and it is now causing problems. It's causing problems particularly for the family. We've had reports over the recent days where the family have said that's not true. It can't possibly be true. She can't have fallen into the water. Someone.
No, we'll just repeat it again. We've had reports from the family. Can't possibly do.
Unless, of course, there is a flow. Now, we can see from that river, there is very little flow. And in fact, at this period of time, it is quite shallow as well. So I would be expecting to find in a very short distance away from where she fell in, which is around that area that we believe. Of course, that's where the mobile phone was left on the park bench. They're going to be searching that area, but they'll also be searching much further down in some of the.
Why did he call it a park bench as well? I mean, maybe that's just, see what he said there.
recovery of bodies, and I've been out with him when he has recovered bodies. And what is very true is that it tends to be where the person goes in, they are not far away from there, unless, of course, there is a flow. Now, we can see from that river there is very little flow, and in fact, at this period of time, it is quite shallow as well. So I would be expecting to find Nicola in a very short distance away from where she fell in, which is around that area that we believe. Of course, that's where the mobile phone was left, on the park bench. They're
On
going to
the
be
park bench, that's just got to be a mistake, hasn't it? I mean, it's not a park bench, obviously.
searching that area. They'll also be searching much further down in some of the deeper water. So did Nicola fall in? Well, we don't know. It is the working hypothesis of the police. It is a position that they have adopted very clearly, and it is now causing problems. It's causing problems particularly for the family. We've had reports over the recent days where the family have said that's not true. It can't possibly be true. She can't have fallen into the water. Someone that is obviously...
The family said that can't possibly be true. She can't possibly have fallen into the water.
very close to her, and someone that knows her probably better than most people is her partner. Her partner has spoken out in recent days, giving his view in relation to what he's going through. Let's have a listen to his clip.
And talk to me. I mean, we're talking to you at such a difficult...
So here's that interview, isn't it? This was the interview that really made everyone start to think that maybe Paul had something to do with it. There was things he wasn't saying. You just tell me what you think. What is this, first of all? That is it, like a black eye, isn't it? That's a black eye. And the residue of it, we gave an interview to Dan Walker. You know, whatever, you know, I'm not saying that Paul did anything to Nicola to cause her to not be honest on it. What I'm saying is something somewhere along the line maybe happened.
Your thoughts and emotions at the moment?
I don't really have anything to say other than what the family said yesterday. My whole focus is my two girls, just staying as strong as I can for them. I'm scared that if I put any focus into anything else, it's going to take my, focus off that. So I've got to be very careful. Just hoping to goodness that anything...
I've got to be very careful. Very careful. He quite often doesn't finish his words off. I just always want to look in his eyes. But anyway, sorry.
Comes out from the interview yesterday, no matter how tiny. Just say a massive thank you to the community, friends, for everything that they're doing. It's absolutely incredible. I just can't believe that we're a week on, and as yet it seems like we're no further on. It just seems
he's always stopping himself from talking. You know, when he compresses lips, which he does very often, his eyes look like he's going to burst out laughing any minute, but his lips are compressed like he doesn't want to talk. It is worrying body language, I think. But body language doesn't mean anything really at the end of the day.
Absolutely impossible. Just like a dream. Just cannot get my head around any of it. Yeah, it is. There's just every single scenario.
That was interesting. With the closed captions, I mean, we've seen this anyway and we've noticed it, but with the closed captions, it really comes up.
Man, it just seems absolutely impossible. Just like a dream. Just cannot get my head around any of it.
I mean, you're left sort of trying to make sense of the census, aren't you? It is just such a mystery.
Yeah, it is. There's just now every single.
It's just every every single, there's just no evidence. That's what you meant to say, wasn't it, Paul? There's just no every single. Comes up really clear on the closed captions there.
Single scenario comes to a brick wall, every single one of them. And then all we're doing is sitting there going round and round and round, going through every scenario, and then go back to the first scenario again and do the whole thing again. And then it's just all day long. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
How are you coping? It must be.
And I just there. It's not a dream. A dream is a good thing. It's gosh, it's like a dream, you know. Wouldn't it be like a nightmare? I mean, you might. I mean, you know, we can read in too much. I know that, but sorry, I just want to say there was a good. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Carol A. Did I miss somebody else coming in there? I don't think so. If I did miss you coming, if somebody's there. And also, again, thank you to all of you at home. And don't forget to like, please.
So difficult, like you say, your focus is on the girls, and it has to be, but
yeah,
it must be so difficult.
I don't know how I'm coping. I don't even want to actually think about that. Just focus, just like I say, it's just about the girls. That's it. I'm there for them. I don't really elaborate on that. I don't want to take my eye off that.
It must be heartwarming to see the public response. Hundreds of people trying to help.
It's amazing. It is right now. It's the only thing that we can take is, you know, that level of support is out of this world. It gives us a great amount of comfort knowing that that's going on. They don't have anything else, do we?
Well, there's hope.
Yeah, we're never going to hope. Of course we're not.
That was, wasn't it? That was when we all thought, what? He smiled and laughed. And then he got a little bit narky with the guy when the guy reminded him, oh, well, there's always hope. Oh, no, we're going to lose hope. I think that was the time when everyone started to think, that's having the bruise.
It's sitting there going round and round and round, going through every scenario, and then go back to the first scenario again and do the whole thing again. And then it's just all day long. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
There's smiling there as well. Yeah.
How are you coping? It must be so difficult. Like you say, your focus is on the girls, and it has to be. But
yeah,
it must be so difficult.
I don't know how I'm coping. I don't even want to actually think about that. Just focus. Just like I say, it's just about the girls. That's it. I'm there for them. I don't want to really elaborate on that. I don't want to take my eye off that.
It must be heartwarming to see the public response. Hundreds of people trying to help.
It's amazing. It is right now. It's the
Oh, he never searched. He never searched. Even now.
only thing that we can take is, you know, that level of support is out of this world. It gives us a great amount of comfort knowing that that's going on. They don't have anything else, do we?
Well,
yeah. Smile. Well, you know, sometimes people smile and they're nervous, so maybe we should give him
knowing
the
that
benefit of the doubt.
that's going on. They don't have anything else, do we?
Well, there's hope.
Yeah, we're never ever going to lose the hope. Of course we're not. But right now, it is as though she has vanished into thin air. Like, yeah, just insane.
So that's Nicola's partner, Paul Ansell. And of course, the comment he makes at the end, people don't just vanish. There is a reason why people go, either individually, a decision, a choice they've made, or a third party involvement. I just want to, before I go back to David and to show some more in relation to what the police's view is. I just want to bring you a couple of comments that are coming in, and please do drop me your comments, your thought processes. Who says that he's just checked the flood alert service and the river is 40 centimeters deep at St Michael's this morning, which is very interesting. And actually, if you look at the footage, you can see how it does appear to be very shallow in that area there. I was just having a look at some of the other comments that are coming in, and let's just work through them. So Matthew said, do you believe in the decoy theory? Matthew, I don't. I can't rule it out completely, but it's possible, but it's unlikely. You know, you'd be suggesting that this is a staged process. And if this was a staged process, I'd expect it more than just simply leaving. What we don't know, of course, is why is the dog's harness off? And those are the big questions that the police will be asking the family.
That was quite interesting what he said, because he said something like, what was it? If it was staged.
I can't rule it out completely, but it's possible, but it's unlikely. You know, you'd be suggesting that this is a staged process. And if this was a staged, I'd expected more than just simply leave our phone there. And in relation to dog.
Yes, so he said if it was a staged process, I'd expect more than just the mobile phone there. But there was more than just that. There was the mobile phone, the dog, and the dog.
Harness. I mean, what we don't know, of course, is the dog harness. Those are the big questions that the police will be asking the family. You know, when they go out for a walk with Willow, is it routine to take Willow's harness off?
Well,
why?
Is it routine to take Willow's harness off? Not at the time, apparently, but then later at the inquest, suddenly it was the routine, according to Paul, to take off Willow's harness. But he never said that then. He said, Paul Ansell himself said, I think it's the phone is a decoy. He said it. I think we mustn't forget that he said it. It wasn't me who said it. It wasn't you who said it. Nobody said it. He said it. And then later at the inquest, suddenly it was because Willow get caught in all the whatever bushes and stuff like that. But he never said at the time. Many photos of Willow, Nick let Willow off the lead. She's got the harness on.
Why would his harness off him? Of course, we don't know the answer.
Well, straight away, Mark, sorry, but you don't even know that Willow is a girl, not a boy.
But the police will be asking that. Let's just look at a couple of other ones. Can't believe her body is not washed up after 11 days. Well, bodies, I can tell you, do sometimes get caught. And we heard Peter Fording earlier talking about the fact that sometimes they can get pulled under. But that does tend to be in the location where they go in, particularly if it's close to, or particularly if it's...
Did you hear that? So he said, yes, they do get caught, but it tends to be in the location where they pull them. Experts, these are experts
her body is not
who
washed
supposedly, you know, have found lots of bodies or had experience in recovering bodies. They know what normally happens, and this is what they are saying.
11 bodies, I can tell you, do sometimes get caught. And we heard earlier talking about pulled under. But that does tend to be in the location where they go in, particularly if it's not fast-moving water. But you can see there sometimes is fast-moving water, in which case that will move a body some distance down river. They've been searching the team and allows them very quickly to search a very large area with real depth. And basically, they run it up the middle, the distance there, they run it up the middle of the water. an indication both sides. And if there's something in that water, a body, it will see it. And of course, they can run that sonar the whole length. So even though they've searched it by hand,
we'll find it. So the only possible explanation, which unlikely for me, but possible, was that she did get caught up in, I don't know, something. But then she floated all that way that she floated, but only at night. She only floated at night because nobody saw a body floating in the day. So how did she get all that way up the river that she did? I don't know if you saw that video that I uploaded that someone had put on TikTok of the journey that she had taken. It's also not only a long way up the river, but it's a very bendy river, and some parts of it are practically beach. They're like, aren't we all sick of saying it because it's impossible?
And then to run that sonar the whole length, or as far as he can possibly go, with that practicality, and that will give him an indication straight away whether or not she's in that water. And I feel pretty confident, knowing Peter as I do and the way that the team works, water at that point as far as they can go. Obviously, I'm having to vet these slightly as I go through them. Caravan park, has that been checked with sniffer dogs? I don't know, but there is the caravan park. Those people who have obviously been following the story. There's the park bench, and then behind the park bench there is a gate which leads.
He still keeps calling it a park bench. Obviously not park bench, but I suppose he means the bench. But it's getting because of the caravan park.
A caravan park, so you can just see where that gate, that benches. To the right of that, there is a gate that leads to a caravan park, and that caravan park has been checked by the police. I don't know to what degree, but one would hope that they've put all the resources in there to check it out. And I know that certainly the owner of the caravan park is someone that has been involved as a witness and has given information to the police.
Penny he's talking about.
Is it possible the police know more than what they're telling us? Well, of course they will. They'll definitely know more. They will be doing a very clear background research in terms of Nicola herself. They'll be building up a whole background checking to see who she's been in communication with, what her likings are, who she has contact with through mobile phones, friendships. So they'll be doing a full background check in relation to her building that up. And of course, that won't all be being shared. But do I think they have something up their sleeve that they're holding back from us? No. They're very clearly saying this is a missing person, not a criminal investigation. And their working hypothesis is that she's gone into the water. That is the basis. And they're, of course, saying that because there is no evidence for them to say that there is foul play. Let me just keep looking through. Whilst I look at this, let's just have a quick listen to the Superintendent Riley. Now, Superintendent Riley has given her views in terms of the search and what they've been doing. Jodie, let's have a play of that.
Precedented number.
Okay, sorry, I just want to say hello to Ocean Blue. You've missed the first hour of this, Ocean Blue, but you can catch up. It will be, you do know you can watch the lives as a video after. Just making sure I didn't miss anyone, just say hello. Sorry, I can't go. I'll go back and check because I don't like to miss any hello to people, but then I can see you all chatting. That's good. So let's go back to it. Sorry.
Number of search resources have been searching the river and the bank. This includes drone, the helicopter, police divers, sonar equipment, pole cameras, underwater drone, and staff wading the shallower parts of the river. We've also had search dogs that are specially trained in the area from both the boat and the riverbank. And this has included the area where Nicola went missing, but also where she went missing, and the 15 kilometres or so.
When they look back at this, don't they realise how ridiculous it all sounds in the end? Because they're telling us, they're basically telling us how well they searched. She wasn't in there, but then she was in there.
So how far is the riverbank and the bench to the road? About 100 metres, not too far, certainly accessible fairly easily, and you could make your way out of there. One of the things that police have talked about is this window of opportunity, and a window of opportunity is a really key term that one would use in policing, because what it means is that during that period of time, it is an opportunity for an offender, for a third party, or alternatively for that individual to disappear, to go away. And that window of opportunity, of course, is the time period where there is no sighting of that of the individual concerned. And in Nicola's case, they say that there is a window of opportunity for about 10 minutes. It's probably slightly more than that. If you look at it, there isn't absolute certainty in some of these sightings, and in individuals, obviously, time-wise, they can't be entirely accurate on some of that. The other thing is that opportunistically, sometimes things just fall into place. So the hardest things to solve are disappearances or abductions by strangers. So we have a stranger attack rather than a planned attack. That tends to be far more opportunistic.
So
and it's much
he's
easier
even saying
for them.
there that the most, of course, are opportunistic abductions. Was someone just, there's quite a lot of strange people there in St. Michael's. We've found that as time's gone on. I found that, you find that just from people who, well, I don't want to go into mentioning anybody's name, but we know there's some quite strange people go fishing along that river and things. We still don't know who the fishermen were for the first. The fishermen that were seen, that Rebecca didn't seem to think it was strange that you would see fishermen. Well, no, it's not strange that you see fishermen, but it's strange that fishermen don't come forward and identify themselves and get removed from the inquiry. Fishermen at the river, what they're saying is, when you put out an appeal, because, for fishermen that have been seen, then you say, can you come forward, please, and eliminate yourself from this inquiry, and they don't come forward, then that is suspicious. So, and, yeah, it might be common to see fishermen there, but which fishermen were they?
And to get away with it, it's unplanned, so there's no footprint in terms of what's taken place. I'm not saying that's happened here, but that small window of opportunity of 10 minutes, 15 minutes actually only needs to be a matter of 10,
exactly.
15
I
seconds.
think that's it. That's the other thing. You think, 10 minutes is not long, but it actually is a long time. So a lot can happen in 10 minutes.
That quick that you can actually abduct someone and you can get away. Alternatively, you can get away yourself. Because, of course, if she had planned this, then she would have put in place certain things. But if she has planned it, then the police, I think, probably quickly will find evidence of that. Of course, nowadays, everything we do has a footprint. Everywhere we go, a footprint. So you can go on the internet and where they've been searching. You can use mobile phones, can be searching. So it is a mystery. It's a mystery that has grabbed the public's attention. I just want to bring David back in here now. David, a mystery that seems to not be going away. Why do you think this has grabbed the public's attention to the degree it has?
I think it's just the fact that seemingly the police have had in the river. There's been no other sightings of her from the witnesses who've come forward. It's a it's a real
And this is so funny
mystery
because
about
it reminds me of me, because his cat, can you hear his cat crying? You know, normally my dogs start barking. So even Mark William Thomas, he obviously hasn't got a soundproof studio.
what's happened.
Yeah, and of course, the fact that we don't know what's happened means that people then start to fill those gaps. And of course, that's one of the massive problems with the police. Want to try some information, and sometimes those words might be slightly loose. I mean, I've been a bit critical of the police officer in relation to that, using the words of balanced terms, but it's certainly something that they're using. As far as your readers and people that are concerned, Lancashire itself is a very safe area.
Well,
I always worry. I'm concerned.
Lancashire itself is a very, not from what I've seen in the, you know, and I've got family who live in Lancashire. I don't think Lancashire is a very safe area. Maybe St Michael's, because it's a tiny little village with 500 residences. I don't know, but I wouldn't say Lancashire is a safe area. When
a police officer says, you know, this is such a safe area, you know, bad things don't happen here. But in terms of your position, I mean, you've, I don't know how long you've been at the Lancashire Telegraph, but even some of the nicest areas have had pretty horrific crimes occur.
Yeah, the big towns and big cities, they do have a more typical crime rate that you'd expect in built up areas. But once you area, but as you say, things can happen.
Well, things
in the most unlikely place.
Anywhere. We look at in Portugal, in Praia da Luz, a little girl missing.
So you can't really rule anything out. They've been saying things.
If I pause that there, so you know, this is the bench. This is the path. For Nicola to fall into this water, she would have had to be standing on the edge. Now, it's possible that the dog, or did she think the dog was going to get into difficulty and then, you know, she, but you know what, I just think it's rubbish. I think she's walked that day in, day out for years and years and years. She would know she isn't going to go near the edge. This is, I suppose, steps into the river or whatever, or anyone who needs to go in the river. But there's no way. Why would Nicola even need to go near the edge? There's no way that she fell in there accidentally. You know, what was she trying to do? Save a dog that could swim.
Things like, we don't want to speculate, but, and then giving a possible hypothesis. But they have come out and strongly condemned people spreading that. So I think they want to keep it focused on a missing persons appeal at the moment.
Yeah, they've been very clear right from day one to say that this is a missing persons case. Yeah, they don't believe there's any evidence.
Did you see how his ear pod fell out there? Sorry, let me just see that. Just make me laugh.
But they have come out and strongly condemned people spreading rumours and theorising and stuff like that. So I think they want to keep it focused on a missing persons appeal at the moment.
Yeah, they've been very clear right from day one to say that this is a missing persons case. Yeah, they don't believe there's any evidence to support otherwise. And they've obviously had that hypothesis that she's fallen into the water. I think today will be a massive day. This will be a turning point for the investigation. We will know by the end of today whether or not Nicola is in that water.
So,
and if she isn't in that
Peter was going there that day, so he's saying we will know by the end of today whether Nicola is in that water.
Whether or not she has moved downstream to a degree they haven't been able to find. I don't know that area well enough, but what I do know is that Peter and his team will be able to establish by the end of the day whether or not she is in that stretch. And then at that point, it goes, what has happened here? Because
so why is everyone so confident about Peter? Like he's saying there, well, if she's there, Peter will find her. Peter said, if she's there, I will find her. Everybody trusted Peter before, and then after it was like, oh, well, Peter doesn't know what he's talking about.
Because she has simply just vanished. It'll be back to the drawing boards for the police. So that's really us. That's our coverage today. I think it's really important that we keep it tight and specifically to the point. There are a number of people who are joining us, and please do stay with us. Follow us on our social media platforms.
Right. Basically, that's it. That's it from that video. So I'm going to be going through other podcasts. In the morning, I've got a video scheduled to come out, which is a different podcast. It's another reporter talking about what she did. I think that's one that you won't have heard before. I'm finding some sort of obscure things that or maybe they saw but we've forgotten. I mean, I personally haven't seen that podcast before. Yeah, I think we know, or we think we know. I think for me, where I am on this whole thing is no. She wasn't in the water for all that time. She just wasn't, unless she'd been pushed in or she went in at a different point or whatever. I don't know what happened to her. I feel like some foul play happened to Nicola for various reasons, but I don't have any evidence of any of it. But I think you'll find that when we go, I'm not going to go through the second one now tonight because it's quite late here now. It's 12:30 nearly. I'm already well up after my bedtime. But at some point tomorrow, we'll be doing a live with the next installments of this podcast and whatever else really that I can find. So, hi, Rooster. I think we all think there was foul play, don't we? I think that's why we're still here doing this. And Rio, scene as well. I think anyone who's been at the scene as well, that you 100% certain that there's more to it. What is a whole nother question? That's the thing. We don't know. Maybe that's where the police are, though apparently they're not continuing with any investigation now. You know, they've just accepted, that's it, the result of the inquest, accidental death, boom, finished, gone, forgotten forever. If Nicola was my daughter, my partner, I would not be happy because of all the anomalies. So. Okay, so night. Don't let the bed bugs bite, and I will see you tomorrow. I expect quite a few Nicola videos now coming up to her birthday next Thursday. I'm going to, you know, and then when we've got the results through of the, I'll be waiting for I haven't heard anything yet about the request that I put in for the 999 call. I'm not expecting any miracles, but you never know. And then we've got the result of the police inquiry, the internal inquiry, to see what that happens there, and then we've just got to take it from there. But thanks for being here with me. And goodbye, Jim. Sorry I didn't get a chance to say hello here, I don't think. But thank you for being here with me and sharing this sort of mad. I mean, it does sort of feel, sometimes your head hurts with all of it because it all goes round in your head, but you can't come to any conclusion. But thanks for being here with me, and I like to read your comments and see what you think. And I'll speak to you soon. But remember to always live and love carefully. And next video. Until then, may your God go with you. Night, night.